All right, so making a drop flower. Oops, since this is not a Lambeth cake, I'm not about to do petal by petal flower. If you ever do competition, though, make sure you do not use drop flowers on your Lambeth cakes, or the judges will not like you. Okay. Now you can see it coming out? Okay. Make all 5 petals at once, and what I'm going to do is what I do at home is I actually will attach the corners of this to my board, whatever board I'm working on. I don't attach it to the counter, because that way it doesn't move around while I'm working. What you need to do is you have to hold it straight up and down and touch the top, and then you need to turn and then lift up, okay? I kind of crank my wrist up when I do this because because if I start this way and I try to turn, it's too awkward, you know. If I were, you know, left-handed, I guess I could turn the other way, but I like to turn this way, so I crank my wrist up a little bit. So straight up and down, touch, squeeze, turn. As you continue squeezing, see how it makes the petal swirl? Stop squeezing and then lift straight up. And boy, you can crank a bunch of these out. Whoops, I moved. It is a little slippery. There we go. Okay, and see these little guys that come straight up, just pop them down. And then you need to wipe your tip. Okay. Here's a perfect one. Okay, perfect. Squeeze and turn. Stop. You only need a little bit of a turn, and then straight up. And again, these little points, you can pop them down if you need to. Normally you don't get those, but I'm a little shaky with people watching me. So you can do about 100 of these in about 10 minutes because you really get going. Don't jam your tip. You're just lightly touching. Don't jam your tip into the counter or you'll push it into the bag. See? And see how they can leave a little hole in the center. And you just let those dry. Although I put the centers in before I dry them, so let me grab the center. I use a tip 2 and yellow for the center. Okay, so I have a number 2 in here, and this is yellow royal icing, and you just pipe, squeeze, stop, and flick when you lift away. And boy, you can do these a mile a minute. And if you have dogtails, which are these points here, I'm doing a couple dogtails on purpose so you can see them, which means that you're squeezing as you lift up, and that creates a dogtail. All you have to do is go back with your finger. You can dip it in cornstarch, or just wait a few seconds while it dries and just tap on it like so, and the dogtail disappears. See how they're gone now? Or you can use like a little wet, damp paintbrush. So you take a paintbrush, dip it in water, and wipe it off and touch it, and that also will get rid of the dogtail. I prefer to use the finger because I don't really want any more water on this, and it already has kind of a, you know, I don't want to dissolve it. You know how water dissolves sugar. Okay, so again, just tap it with the top of your finger, and that gets rid of the dogtail, and you have a nice rounded top. Okay? Another thing, by the way, judges will look for if you have dogtails on your round pieces. Let those dry,